Oh, you don't play CSGO now? Well, hop in. Let's find out who asked. And while we're on for the ride, why don't we talk about how CSGO's been out for 7 years? It was $15 when you bought it, free if you got it after 2018. You probably have 5, 10, 15,000 hours now in the game. And if you don't like it, you can go play Dota, League of Legends, Fortnite, Apex Legends, whatever you want for free. You can pick up and leave. You can play CSGO. It'll be here when you get back. You can never come back, but you can't fucking complain about it if you contribute nothing. Not fuck you for complaining. Fuck you for complaining and not contributing. These games are free. Check your fucking entitlement. All right? I am sick of this. Seeing these opinions of people that are not even complaining about the games themselves. They're complaining about the fact that somewhere on the other side of the world there's not enough players. How the fuck does that affect you? Why is that your problem? Okay? I know you got a nice corner office in your mom's basement and you got G Fuel stuck up your nose and you wake up every morning with a sunburn on your nose from your monitor tan. Nobody asked you. Okay? You contribute nothing. Nobody, keep it to yourself. Go play whatever game you want. Enjoy the fact that you can play these games for 10 hours, 12 hours a day in a dark room and succeed and jump from one game to another with no commitment, no money invested. Watch as many free multi-million-dollar tournaments as you want. And that's it. Enjoy that. Don't complain about it. Nobody wants to hear your opinion. No one cares. Okay? Check your fucking entitlement. All right. Today we're going to watch someone who's built a bit different. His name is TeSeS. He plays for Heroic. And I want to talk about how he's been an instrumental figure on this team and how recently he's really started to shine. Even though he sits around here at a 1.0, roughly, Stown in an interview recently said that he felt like TeSeS has the best aim in the world when he's on. But what's more important about TeSeS is that he can take over a game by playing the worst spot and putting up good stats. A player like this, you're never going to see in the green, right? Unless they're in absolute peak form, like Twists, for example. He's a player like that. He's a fill-in player. He has a bone to pick, right, with the player on the other side. He's the guy who wants to go squeaky door by himself, get spammed down to 40 HP, and still win his duel. Short shelf on Vertigo. He wants to go connector on Overpass. He wants to just get bombarded by nades and players who are designing the opening parts of their round to killing him and then still winning their duel. That's the kind of player he is. He has a bone to pick with this game. Okay, he wants to prove something. That's Twist, that's TeSeS, that's, I don't know, Floppy. That's, there's certain players that love these roles. TeSeS is one of them, and we're going to talk about that now with Heroic. We're going to watch him play Overpass on Connector and watch him kind of take over a game from this spot. And I'd like to also watch a Vertigo demo with him because I think that's where he shines even harder, to be honest. Shout out to Dominic Tugins. We had this issue where there was HUD flickering in our demos. But Dominic, I woke up this morning, 5 a.m., out of nowhere. I don't know why. I think I chugged a glass of milk before bed. And then it was lactose-free milk, but I still, for some reason, I'll just wake up in the middle of the night. So I woke up at 5 a.m. I went to go pee. I checked my phone, and then I messaged Dominic about something unrelated. And I was like, hey, do you know anything about the HUD flickering? Because I saw a comment that was like, I'd rather watch the old demos without the HUD flickering than the POV demos if the HUD's going to flicker. And it's a lot of flickering. He fixed it within 3 hours. This was updated 5 hours ago. That's amazing. I don't even know what to say about that. I didn't expect this to get fixed at all. He's not getting paid to do this. So thank you, Dominic, for making that happen. Now all our demos are going to be completely flickerless for the rest of the Coach Laos. Okay, so let's take a look at another player. We've been banging out some pretty good vids. This viewership is insane, by the way. Looking at these, these three videos alone is 100K views. When I look at just a month ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 rows here, in total is like 20,000 views. Like they're 1K. You know what I mean? This is nuts. So let's use this platform to shine a light on TeSeS, a player who is on the #1 team in the world. It's Astralis now, who plays a very key role that a lot of people probably don't know a lot about. CT side overpass begins now. I actually casted this match. This was from DreamHack Fall. This is one of the opening games. Actually, Connor referenced that G2 did play overpass once of this tournament. I think he mistakenly said that it was a rematch versus another team, but actually forgot. He was right. This was a match that they played versus Heroic. And they had a good opening half, but their T side on overpass is what seems to fail. So overpass is all about these kinds of pushes. Let me just set something up right away, okay? What's something that's fundamentally important to understand about overpass is if you control connector, you control the round on CT side. It's just that the longer the round plays out, the more unsafe it becomes to be in connector because you can be flanked from top stairs and from the bottom. But if you have a way to get a kill in that period where you're controlling connector, then your chances of winning the round skyrocket, of course. So pushing short B, playing in stairs, these are two key components of CT side. This is why you want to push. Because we look over at the A side, you look at that radar, enormous choke point here on the A site outside bathrooms, and another choke point right beside it at long. So defending from the site itself is actually not that easy. And on CT side, that's why we have so much area to push up. This is the other thing, fast rotations. So even though the bomb just went down on the A site, TeSeS is in the perfect position to flank within seconds, right? As we know, the best retake positions are the best post-plant positions. If the bomb's planted front site there and they have bathrooms control and you retake from CT spawn and come up, you have a very little chance of winning the round. You got to bait them, you fake the fuse, bait them into peeking divider, bait them into peeking the front side of bathrooms. You have your work cut out for you on that retake. But if you have stairs control or if you have short B control and you know you can open the door, well, suddenly the T's are hugely disadvantaged and don't realize it off until it's too late. Now, in that situation, you think, why isn't G2 planned for bank? Well, it's because the rotators are coming from that side. So later on, there's going to be rounds where G2 can have strats designed to take bank control, take CT control, and then plant backside. But in the meantime, it's a huge threat for the CT side to be able to have stairs control or short B control. So right off the connector, first things first here. Door gets blown open from the CT side. And this is something CTs are doing more and more consistently now. Just like a year ago, it used to be more of a gimmick, and now it's more common practice that CTs have found this to be a big advantage, especially if you're going to hold on to things. So if, say, for example, someone comes short water, and TeSeS is in the stairs, and Stown is on short, if that door gets blown open, TeSeS doesn't have to be peeking this connector area to see outside the door, if that makes sense. So this part right here, he could fight short without even have to expose himself to that. Now, of course, it makes the rotation a bit easier, and he is down there. So when we're talking rotations, of course, his only rotation is to come back through CT spawn, and then, get up here quickly, get onto the site, and try to frag out. But his teammate all gets kills, so it's no big deal. So let's see I know this is going to be a good one. I already know this is going to be a good one. So let's take a look at another round where they try something new. So this is the position. Get this all flashed. So this is the position that famously Fur championed on SK Gaming, really, when he was good at it, and would always push to fountain by himself. This is another one of those hard positions that you leave somebody who has a bone to pick, somebody who has great aim, wants to play alone, wants to play aggressively, wants to win the round for you, and isn't scared. That's TeSeS. Okay, so he's going to play here, and as we can see, the orange player on the radar can cover his flank in the playground around him, but that's it, really. He can't really help him fight mid as easily. He has to cover something for him, but ultimately TeSeS has to do most of the heavy lifting here. I don't know if he does, but this is just what the position is. So, we see how demanding that is on his aim. TeSeS hears the footsteps around him and just goes for that duel first. Puts himself at risk of getting peeked by Jax, But look at this. The round is over now. That's pretty much it. You can fast forward off of this, but you'd be hard-pressed to think a 3v5 actually happens. So this is an awesome adjustment that a lot of teams are doing. That basically everyone does, where if you have someone here, you have orange back on the site. Orange can spot the bathrooms, and sometimes they can come peek long to take some attention away from you, and then you can get another kill. Also, if orange leaves, you can sit here, and then they can take the site from bathrooms, and you have a great retake position. That's why you can play retake, but it's ideal that you play retake from one of the best post-plant positions as opposed to like CT spawn or bank, where they're expecting you to come from. Okay, it's actually turned out to be a decent round, but of course 3v5 off of that. So we're going to see some pressure towards A and no specific aggressive option. This is the kind of round, well, I guess it depends if he wants to go B here, but I was saying this is the kind of round you might juggle back, try to take over long control on A, and then think about changing things up. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back here. There's no rush going on. And there it is. Cadian will go for the long setup. Which again, if he's by himself, it's much safer than being inside the bathrooms. And he'll even get a kill off of it. So now the utility sets come out with the time coming down. And TeSeS will just make sure that nobody is trying to group up for an execute. This is a good time to use utility, right? Because let's say heroic, or let's say G2 panic, they might try to pop the execute off right there and then. And then TeSeS could get caught off guard, and the whole thing is screwed for them. So even though he doesn't see anybody, you know, this is a good time to make a read, if that makes sense. Great shot from TeSeS. Once again, happy to face, and I don't think there's amazing guns here, so I think he's pretty comfortable with it. And yeah, his aim is looking very crispy. So he's lining it up with the third balcony for that Molotov. Just above it. Third or second, can't remember. And then is just jump spotting. Jump spotting, probably ultimately, even though people once in a while will get killed this way, compared to the amount of information people regularly gain from this, it's going to be worthwhile to jump spot rather than, you know, do anything else to get the information. And this game is about information, of course, right? This is why cheats are designed to either improve your aim or improve what you can know, because those are the only two things that matter in Counter-Strike. And that's why map control is important. That's why pushing is important. That's why retaking, you know what I mean? That's why re-aggressing is important. You're trying to get closer to a full understanding of where everybody is on the map at all times without, of course, exposing yourself to too much risk. So this is a really powerful angle. It's going to work very often that you can use to fight. It'll almost always net you at least one frag. That's pretty good. Almanac ends up shooting his teammate, which is unfortunate for them, but that's pretty common. You can stand up on top of that bin alone and be safe a lot of the times. Yeah, you have a big advantage to win an opening duel, so it's a good spot to be in. But of course, what we like to see is variety. We know there are going to be some spots that are stronger than others on any given site, but what's key, of course, is being in unpredictable spots more than just being in good spots. So learning, you know, a few different openings is huge. Sometimes we watch a half and it feels like we'll watch 15 different openings from these players. And that's the kind of variety that'll make you hard to read, right? That'll allow you to get that gimmick kill 15 times in a row. So here's another stairs play. And they flash to clean things out. And TeSeS gets out. Dual Jax comes for the late peek after they flash it. And he sticks around. One thing I've noticed from TeSeS is he does stick around quite a bit. Sometimes he's taking fights and taking risks. But of course, this is also heroic style. All of them do take a lot of risks. Stairs fall back with the flash. And this is, of course, TeSeS playing alone. So he can't stay out here for too long. He wants to get information, but if he dies, it's really jeopardizes the round on A. And of course, you know, the 5v4 untradeable. So now I see some utility coming out. And he won't overstay his welcome. It's a risky job. There's not really perfect angles that you get to work with as your rifle support on A. You kind of have to float a little bit. You're going to have to take some fights that are a little bit uncomfortable. So you want to put a stronger rifler here, generally speaking. And the communication between the two of you and your opper, is everything. Because you guys are just Batman and Robin, peanut butter and jelly. Always sticking together. So there's an opening. And I don't know if Kenny has spotted him. Oh my god, that's insane. He almost locked that down. If he actually, I think his recoil didn't reset fast enough. If he had waited just I think literally 20 more milliseconds, he would have been able to win that. Because it looked like he took his time. So now he's dedicated over on the B site, looking to flash for Monster. I think as a counter when he sees grenades coming over, or when their smoke comes up, if his teammate calls for it. But immediately will now run back to A. And this is after, I think, a 1 round from G2, so we know they have money. And just pay attention to how he decides to play off of Cadian. If he's going to tuck in here and watch Divider, maybe. Yeah, so you see how he's always working off of Cadian's peak. He's taking contact. TeSeS is holding the other thing. There's so many options for that on this map. And this site specifically. So now here's a situation where you can go for long control, potentially. And see, this becomes a natural option. It can almost become obvious with the amount of times that teams do this, but this is just a natural adjustment. It's just very strong setup. It's hard to break open. And TeSeS will actually try to reclaim some control because I guess he's feeling uncomfortable with just sitting back on the site, which is great. And he'll get rewarded by seeing that it's probably going to be a B hit. So he can stop them from coming back down the stairs or up the stairs. 20 seconds left is where he's probably comfortable they're committing. And now he can hope his teammate will trade out a little bit. So now they're back to a 3v3. And there's his patience rewarded. Critical for the timing there, as you noticed, that TeSeS went to look at long control, but didn't hang out too long. Walked top bathrooms the whole way, walked downstairs, and caught this ideal timing, right? He went early in the beginning because he was trying to get map control back. And Cadian gets this kill. So I think TeSeS is kind of a distraction for him. There was one where Omnek was tucked into a corner. I remember that. Omnek was waiting for TeSeS to peek that whole time, and TeSeS just didn't peek off of short. He's, as we'll see in one of these rounds, very comfortable, very patient, very relaxed about being in such a crazy spot. Like in this spot right now, you can see he's exposed to the short B. He has to take care of stairs, and probably Cadian's not going to be watching the top side of A forever. Either he joins him in stairs, falls back, thinks about long. Cadian doesn't have any info about long. So TeSeS is in a very kind of stressful position, and we'll see that he plays it extremely carefully, extremely patiently. And here, since he wants to squeeze out, he could go top stairs and fall back with Cadian, but instead, he's opting to push. No one's here at stairs. You saw Jack's here once, and now he's cleared this out, and this is where the round gets extremely kind of easy for Heroic. So if TeSeS goes for the big flank and he thinks they're B, we don't know. They could be long right now. But if he thinks they're B, that's it. He's the golden boy. He can make sure that they don't lose. Even just with this info sitting here waiting, he can flank A or B. And because he's being so patient, Heroic are just waiting around, making sure that nothing crazy can happen. But TeSeS is controlling the middle of the map. There's no way for them to go back upstairs. Look how face forward and still all the B players are right now. This is because of TeSeS. He's allowing them to focus on their job, which I want to say is going to increase the amount of times you actually get the kill. Just not even being able to see the players, but having confidence that they're there. So now the smoke is down. Omnek's actually on the other side of this smoke, and he's just sitting there waiting for TeSeS to push. But TeSeS doesn't push too early. You can see that even when TeSeS is a player that we just looked at as someone who takes risks, he also knows when to pump the brakes as well. A strong feature of his game is pushing and just picking very good timings alongside of having the aim. So now we're going to go for that fur play again. Or the fur play, the rain play. Oop. Probably hit a space bar there. And now we'll fall back. Could have been a free one. They're 14 to 10. They don't need it, okay? He'll get a new scroll wheel. I don't want to hear a word about it in the comments. And also, I want to know why everyone's saying POG all the time. It's driving me nuts. I don't understand what it is. Here's another jump spot you can see in the stairs. I got a chiropractor appointment in like 15 minutes. Gonna go like one more time or something before I leave. It's actually kind of just it's kind of like just a massage, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna go one or two more times before I leave. Nothing special there on the rotation. And you want to do a play with this fountain push, like two times per half. You know, if it was like rain on phase when they were playing overpass a lot, he'd do it like, you know, once or twice per half. If you're fur when he's playing on SK, he was doing it like 3-4 times a half, like an absurd number. He just wanted to do it over and over again, and it always worked for him. But most people are not going to do a play like that all the time because it is dangerous for TeSeS to be out there. The key is to pick the rounds where they forget about it. So now TeSeS, eyes focused on this long flank, but bomb gets spotted. So now he's going to start making his rotation over. He's probably going to be a bit wary about the fact that he's been caught coming down the stairs a couple of times now. Yeah, he's actually slowing it down a lot. Now, of course, something that also influences rotations is how many teammates you have alive, right? If you have a lot of teammates alive, you don't want to blow the round by like running down when they're actually going to run back up, and then suddenly you take a man advantage and enter it into a bad situation. So TeSeS is there to sit to catch lurkers, does not rush it. There could have been someone there designing a play to catch him because he's been flanking them too many times. We just saw him take over that game by being a really consistent connector anchor and also a connector player, and also showing us when to be patient, when to push. And it showed us a great display of individual aim. I'm really big on TeSeS right now after casting a couple of his matches. Didn't watch a ton of Heroic, missed some of the clone games and stuff. So it's really cool to watch this now. And yeah, I'm a huge fan. I think he's, you know, in terms of riflers, you got 4 on a team, and everybody has to contribute some value. And I think you can take a good player and convince them to play a spot they don't want, like a hard spot, an annoying spot. But what you really want is someone like TeSeS who is going to throw themselves at it, like really live to win these kinds of duels, to play these kinds of positions. So it's not even the hardest spot that he plays, I'd say, but it's, you know, it's up there with one that shows, you know, how kind of alone you are at any time, how important it is that you're comfortable. And we saw just nothing but success. So yeah, cool to watch that demo. That was a good one. Be back tomorrow for another Coach Loud. The EU hub is open. The NA hub is open. DM at Boxer 10 Mans on Twitter for that. And yeah, just got a first demo review from the Patreon. So I'm going to work on that. I don't know if it'll be public or not. If people want to have their demo review be public, they can tell me beforehand. I'm not going to force you to do it, of course, but it might be helpful because some of the demos that we watch with pro games, they're a bit more high level, of course, and they sometimes have to do with how the other team plays. But in a you know, regular ESA league match at any level, it's still going to be a lot more relatable content, less anti-stratting, less high level stuff, just stuff you can just, you know, learn from. And of course, with more mistakes, there's more to talk about. So if you have you know, you want your demo review to be public, just let me know when you submit on the Patreon. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys here for another one tomorrow.